Welcome to another episode of Rainbow Popcorn, the podcast, where we review queer cinema and camp classics, and
Yes.
each week give a movie a rating on our Pride score matrix.
Matrix.
Yes. Hello, Brett.
right.
How are you?
I'm good, Lee. How are you?
I am good. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, that's good. I'm not gonna
I love a Welsh
try
accent.
the Welsh accent. The only thing I can kind of say, or what to quote the movie, the easiest one to say in a Welsh accent is talcum powder.
Or committee.
Committee.
When the woman, Diane from Outlaws, says committee at the very
Diane
start.
from Outlaws says committee.
She's good. Sean.
Yes.
Your Welsh accent in impersonating this movie doesn't have to be very strongly Welsh.
Ooh.
Because
why?
Imelda Staunton and Bill Nighy are not super strong with the Welsh
I
accents.
thought they were good.
They're very good.
Yeah.
And Imelda Staunton, even though I hate her for being Dolores Umbridge, is very good in this movie.
She's very good in things.
So help me if you get AIDS from a couple of sleeping bags in your extension.
Unless you myself. See, and I lost the accent.
I have been practicing that line in the Welsh accent.
Now I'm hoping you could clear something for me up that I heard about lesbians in the market.
They're like, not now, Gwen. Not now, Gwen. Let them get settled in. That's the film.
Done. Yay, gays.
So Pride is the film and Pride is the score. We didn't even
Yes.
say the name of the film. Well done to anyone who guessed it, because we're doing a queer film with lots of Welsh people in it. So that's a big clue. The movie is Pride from 2014, and it is about gays and lesbians support the minors.
Lesbian and gay support the
Or
minors.
lesbian and gays, my apologies. That's why they wanted a little breakaway group. Because they realised that the minors needed support because they were copping all of the shit that the gays were normally copping.
Yep.
And so they raised the money and Welsh went up to this little Welsh town and gave them the money and a van.
Yes.
And
And they gave them more important than money. Friendship.
friendship, they gave them friendship.
Are you going to do that the whole episode?
Yes, I'm going to talk like a Welshman the whole episode. Because I think it's an accent that I can kind of get away with.
I don't know about that, but anyway.
I'm just going to pick the best bits for the Reels and for the TikTok, and then everyone will think, oh, he's really good at doing an accent.
So yes, it's about the lesbian and gay support the miners go to this Welsh mining town
Yes.
to support them, and they get support in return, and it's all about that. I can't really.
Yeah. Well, we decided to do this one partly because it's very funny and it's very good, and also because it's based on something real. And after the absolute dumpster fire that was Stonewall,
Dumpster fire, yeah.
I've decided I'm going to describe more things as a dumpster fire.
Okay, right.
After the dumpster fire that was Stonewall that we reviewed a couple of weeks ago, and the link's in the episode description if you missed it, we needed to do this because this is better. And part of the reason I think it's better is because it doesn't hang itself on being a story about the miner strike.
Yeah.
It's a story about people.
Yes.
And by focusing the story on the friendship and the connection as a number one, you can then put all the other things in about prejudice and about connection and our understanding and friendship and AIDS and pride and miners' strike and fuck Thatcher.
Screw you or fuck you. I thought that was, yeah, that's what I like. It's, that kind of crossover between the two issues at the same time.
Yeah. I have been thinking about it, and I think...
Because everybody can get along if they have a common enemy, Margaret Thatcher.
Yes. But I think the big comment that I quite liked from the movie was early on when the LGSM are first going to the town and they ring the hall and it takes Gwen 2.5 minutes to get to the phone.
Yeah.
And they first come and Sean's husband and all of the people on the committee are saying, I don't have a problem with it, but people might have a problem with it. And I think that's a really strong comment on prejudice, is people say, I don't have a problem with it, but other people might, or so we won't accept them. That
We
group
won't accept their
mentality,
money and yeah.
or accept them as people, is, the level, the subtext of not accepting their money.
Yep.
And I think that's a really strong and a really common part of prejudice, is that the queers are a group of people that people don't accept. So it's much easier to act with prejudice and bias against them when they're a group of people that the majority don't accept.
Isn't that you just described the meaning of the word prejudice pretty much?
No, but in this case, that the movie is saying a lot. I'm not prejudiced against them, but the group is.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so then that makes the person that's saying, I don't have anything against them, act prejudicially because the group does.
So is this Pride and Prejudice?
It's Pride and Prejudice.
There you go.
Yeah. Without any big mansions.
So getting to our Pride score,
Yes.
the P for Pride stands for presentation.
How does the movie look and how is the movie made visually? This one goes all out to all of the cinematographers that are listening.
It's good.
It's good.
It looks good.
It looks real.
Yes.
And
it doesn't look over... it doesn't look too,
produced.
polished.
Yeah. And I did a lot, and we probably will talk a lot about comparing it to Stonewall, but it didn't look nice. It's not like we want to try and make a movie that looks nice. It looked like they were just shooting in that bookshop or in that village.
Which is something that I felt Stonewall did, was that it chose
Stylized
it to
things.
look good.
Yeah.
It had style over substance, where this focused more a bit on the actual story and being more historically accurate than Stonewall.
Well, it had actual stock footage, not stock footage, historic
Yeah.
footage
Yeah.
from a Pride March and from the miners' strike actions, which it didn't in Stonewall.
No.
And although they did have a few key real people,
Yeah.
there were a lot of people that weren't necessarily probably real people. They were artistic license characters
Yes.
to tell the story. But the way they portrayed, I think the real people seemed very genuine.
And the cast, well, the guy who plays Mark Ashton
Yes.
is better looking in the movie than in real life.
Oh,
Don't want
really?
to judge him, but
He did look good in the movie. I think it's a very
he was
good
a
cast.
communist
Really?
in real life.
Oh.
Mark Ashton, he says the movement lesbian and gay support the miners and the Young Communist League. Oh.
Oh, not the actor.
Not the actor, no, sorry.
Okay, well there is saving the world, changing the world, doing things for the people, part of his character. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, it looks very good. And you've written about the Welsh scenery.
Oh, it's good. It's
it
a
is very-
depressing little town,
It
though.
is very pretty.
The
village.
town of, I don't know how to pronounce ONLLYWYN.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not trying to... Elrin.
No, it'd be that, you read that in Welsh and the town would be like
Is it Dominic...
Richmond.
Is it Dominic West that says, how can that be a village? It doesn't have any vowels.
I'm going to actually, I want to find the I wonder if we
The
could work-
village and the pronunciation.
Surely
it'll have village thing pronounced in brackets.
that's
What?
in the Wikipedia. It's got Welsh pronunciation. That doesn't make me pronounce it.
Oh, that looks like the Welsh phonetic alphabet, not even the English phonetic alphabet.
How do I pronounce it?
How do you spell it?
O
O-N.
N double L.
Yep.
W-Y-N.
All right, I'm going to Google that and pronounce.
Gosh.
And we'll see if we have that little queer Google pronouncer that we had the other week.
Was also the setting for Pride, the award-winning 2014 LGBT-related historical comedy drama.
Einelvin. I don't think they say that in the movie. Anyway.
No, they don't. Or they could have, and it could have been completely different.
It looks good, the movie.
It's very well presented. The directing isn't anything like fancy.
No, but I don't think it has to be.
No.
Sometimes you don't have to do you just sometimes point a camera at people.
The end shot is good. He's on the shoulders and they're on the bridge. And I was finally watching a movie where I was the first person to say, been there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say finally watched a movie where you cried.
Well, I did. But, and it's because it's not meant to be fancy. It's this small little depressing looking Welsh town.
Yeah.
But the scenery around when they walk and go look at that castle, and it's very good.
This is a proper Welsh castle, none of that Norman stuff.
Oh, God, the accent.
I'm getting it. It's good. Any Welsh listeners, take me home with you. Not like to Wales.
Whoa. Not like to Wales, to bed.
Yeah. Take me to Wales.
Not to bed.
Not to bed.
So
what we do when I get to Wales, different story.
I'm going to go to a local town hall and sing
I'm going
a
to
song.
give it 3.75. I cried when they sang the song.
3.75 out of P. 5. I'll give it a 3.5.
How can we work crying into the Pride scale? Entirety.
Just give it extra points in the dialogue. If the dialogue made you cry.
No, that wasn't the dialogue.
We'll get to that later. Right, okay. The
song.
R in Pride stands for representation.
Now, representation is a bit twofold in that we're talking about how well it represents the reality of the story.
Yes.
But also how diverse in its representation the film is.
Not.
There's only one woman in the LGSM, but I think that's factual.
But that's factual.
And then
But then there's two more, and then they wanted to. Then they were lesbians against pit closures,
which is they continued even after all the mines were. They just rebranded slightly, but kept pits open.
And no, I was going to say something. It's very white. Let's be honest. It's
very
a very
white,
white movie. There is no person of color in this movie.
But this is an interesting thing about representation. If you're telling a true story,
yes,
I don't think there are going to be many people of colour in 1984 in a Welsh mining village.
But there could be, because those characters, most of those characters in the Welsh village are made up.
Yeah, but do you make up something that wouldn't have been there? This is it. This is the debate.
Yes.
One of the debates around representation.
I think that it could have been. Why wouldn't it have been there?
It could have been there. You're right.
Yeah. It's the opportunity to have a person of colour is there.
And they didn't do it.
Yeah. You wouldn't have had to make the whole town black.
No.
But it could have been, Idris Elba instead of Bill Nye. That wouldn't have worked quite for the story. But you know what I mean.
I think it's real tough. Imelda Staunton is setting Bill Nye a task. Make sure you cut all the sandwiches and cut them straight. With Bill Nye, his hands.
I don't know how he uses a knife.
It's not easy.
Poor Bill Nye.
And poor miners just eating butter sandwiches.
How does he mine?
He doesn't. He's old.
But he mined before.
He writes poetry. Yeah, but Bill Nighy's character
Oh, okay.
might
Yeah,
not
okay.
have always had
Maybe
awkward
that's how
hands.
he's just got the
RSI from working the pick.
work in the pick.
I assume miners work like the Seven Dwarfs.
What, and have a jaunty tune on the way
They have
back?
a jaunty tune and then they just hit rocks with little pickaxes. That's how I assume mining works,
Okay. And
I've
then they
never
go
been
home
down a
and they all
mine.
sleep together.
other than Sovereign Hill. And you'll go home and Imelda Staunton was the Snow White of Onlwyn.
Gosh.
And that's why she's making them the butter sandwiches.
Speaking of white, representation,
Yep.
even the bread's white. The representation, sometimes like with gay movies,
Yes.
it's gay men. Like you think Stonewall,
Yes.
men and they
Gay
didn't-
men.
They didn't do the transgender storyline very well.
No.
But they have the lesbians in there as well.
Yeah. I think...
But it's just gay and lesbian. There's no other spectrum.
I don't think the spectrum was as broad. It was there, but I don't think the movement was as LGBTIQIA
No.
plus.
And they didn't call people queer people or blah, blah, blah. They just said gay and lesbian.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's a hard one for me to do representation. Also, the actors, the majority of them are straight.
I think the representation of the story is quite good.
Yes.
I don't think they were very... They didn't go too hard or too deep on the violence thing.
Yeah, like they didn't show the
Bashing of Geffen.
Yeah.
Geffen?
Gethin.
Gethen.
Gethin or Geffen?
Gethen, I think.
Geffen. With a good Welsh name like that.
Yeah. Rill.
Or how's this for looking at the cast, right? And it goes through and it's like, I love how people are credited sometimes.
Mm.
Russell Tovey as Tim, apparent ex-lover of Mark.
He's good. Oh, he's sad.
That's the sad bit. That's when you were like, oh, they haven't talked about age much. Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then they just throw it in our face at the end.
Maybe that's how it's not represented as much. But that's not what the story's about.
Yeah, that's not the point of the story.
Although it is, because Jonathan has it.
Yeah, but I still think the point of the story is friendship and acceptance. Not
Yeah.
how hard is it living as a gay man or queer person in 1984. That's not the point of the story.
That's true.
And I
But
think
they did show that a bit.
yeah, when they're out collecting money
When they're
and
collecting
they
money or
get
they-
abused.
They're
and-
calling people and they're not accepting the money. And even when this other town, within the town, there's the bitch and the sons
yeah,
that don't want them
Yeah.
there.
I think
And the whole town is, everybody, I tell you what, if I could change people's minds with a dance number, oh, God, that'd be good.
you wouldn't choose disco. You wouldn't.
No. Oh, no, I wouldn't. If it was the 80s, maybe.
Yeah, if it was 1984, you'd be choosing the disco.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you reckon they got rid of, do you reckon the police just got tired of all that Donna Summer?
the point of the story, and I think this is something that we kind of talked about when we were deciding whether or not to do the podcast, is that the telling of queer stories and queer cinema has been a lot about, oh, it's so hard and it's so sad. There's been a lot of sad and there's a
Yeah.
lot of hardship stories.
Because the majority of them, somebody dies of AIDS.
Yeah. But also there is like, and I think there's been criticism of a lot of movies that have told queer stories without telling the story as this is a really hard life. And this is the hard things that queer people have been through.
Yeah.
But the point of this movie is not that.
No.
And so I think in terms of representing this idea of being the bigger person and reaching out the hand of friendship, even to people, and I wrote, it would be a tough sell to
Yeah.
queer people to say, hey, and go and give money to the miners. As that guy said when he left the group, he's like, these guys bash me every day on my way home from school.
Mm.
But I do like the idea of being the bigger person.
Yes.
And I think it tells that story well. And I think it tells the connection between that village and the LGSM story well.
And I think from what the research that I've done, which is minimal,
Yes.
that it does portray the historical story quite well. Like these people founded this group, did this, went to this town. You know, that night where they came back and partied.
Yeah.
They did that. They didn't go to a fetish bar apparently, but that's hilarious. So we'll chuck
That's
that
funny.
in.
When, she's just talking to the guy with the ball gag.
Yeah, and then
And
they
about
go,
the talcum powder.
talcum powder, lily of the valley I use. So I think it does that well better than the last movie.
Better than Stonewall. So in terms of that,
it's hard.
so this is an out of 5 as well each.
Yeah,
So in terms of how well it told the story, it's probably a 4 out of 5. But in terms of how... But then...
diverse the cast is.
Yeah, but then we're like, it told the story well with the people that were probably actually there.
But you don't have to 100% make it that way.
Yeah.
Like, the guy that wears the beanie and the glasses all the time, he could have been black.
That's true.
Or Asian.
I'm going to give it
Or
3.5
whatever. Okay.
out of 5.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay. Iconicness.
Okay, I don't...
It's only an 8-year-old movie, so it hasn't had time to become iconic.
Yeah. I think that... Well, it premiered at Cannes Film Festival.
Yes.
It received a standing ovation.
Yeah.
And it won the Queer Palm Award, which I didn't know was a thing.
Oh, there's jokes there I can make, but I won't.
It was very well received.
Yep.
It made £718,000 in its first weekend at the UK box office. It only had a limited release in the US.
Not a surprise.
92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's very good. I think it's going to become a iconic movie.
I think so.
I think queers all should watch it.
When I was looking up reviews and people's thoughts on Stonewall,
Yes.
one of the reviews was like, this is terrible, this isn't thing. If you want to watch a good movie that tells a good story, well, watch Pride.
There we go. I'm going to give it a 3.5 for iconicness.
Was nominated for a Golden Globe for
yeah?
Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy.
Yep.
It won a BAFTA.
Oh, you'd hope so. More than one.
No, it just won one BAFTA.
Nominated for a couple, though?
Um,
You've lost it now.
it's not there.
Oh, Wikipedia doesn't rate the BAFTAs. British Academy of Film and Television Arts? Is that what it stands for?
British Academy Film Awards. Oh, God, stupid. It was nominated for Best British Film.
Yep.
Best Actress in a Supporting Role for Imelda Staunton.
Oh, she's very good.
And it won Outstanding Debut by a British writer, director or producer for Stephen Beresford.
Well done, Stephen.
Iconicness, it's not there, but it could become. So I'm going to give it a 2.5.
D in Pride.
What did you give it, sorry?
3.5.
Okay. It's already better than Stonewall.
The D in Pride.
I think it was already better than Stonewall after the P.
Stands for dialogue.
Dialogue.
It is very British. We both wrote that.
Very British. It's funny. The dialogue of the funny bits is good.
It's quick and witty British funny.
Can I give it an extra half a point for the accent?
No.
It just sounds better in a Welsh accent. Saying that phrase about if you get AIDS for using from your sleeping bags, funnier in a Welsh accent.
And we're off to Swansea for a massive les off.
Oh, but we're gay. Why should we care about the minors? Well, coal produces energy that allows you, gays like you, to dance to Bananarama until 3 a.m.
That's true. it's a well-written movie, not just the humour.
Where are my lesbians?
I will say about every movie we watch that is not American, well done for not making everything obvious in the script.
Although, you know the bit where Mark runs into Russell Tovey with the ears?
Yes.
So I'm on a farewell tour.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it like that. And then he's worried. It's like subtle, but then later he's standing at the thing and they're talking, and then he's like,
that's a
"Let me
little
look at this sign about AIDS."
That's a little bit obvious.
I preferred if they didn't do that. Then it would have been even more shocking at the end, where it was like, "He died of AIDS."
But then we get like what an American movie would have been. Hi, I'm from Bromley and I'm 20 years old. Not just today's my birthday.
I'm
How old
20.
are you? I'm 20.
Yeah.
You're a minor,
Yeah.
not a minor.
Not a minor, but a minor.
There's a Scared Weird Little Guys song about minors.
Minor minors.
Minor
minors.
that I was thought of at that moment.
Die, your gays have arrived.
And she walks in and they're there, Gwen's, and then she kind of backs away from them.
Yeah.
Back into the kitchen.
Basically, anything she says, great dialogue. Anything Imelda Staunton says, good dialogue.
I've seen you with no clothes on, seen you as this high. They've
And
thrown
believe
back
me, they've
worse.
thrown better than you away.
It is a great scene when Imelda Staunton, who I can't remember the name of, and Bill Nye, who I know is Cliff,
Havina.
are sitting there doing the sandwiches.
Yeah.
And Bill Nye just goes, I'm gay.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't know what to say.
She goes,
Oh,
I know.
I've known for quite a while. Or since the gays arrived. No, for me, since about 1968.
And they just go making their depressing margarine
just their
sandwiches.
butter, probably margarine, probably not even butter.
And she was scraping the bottom of that margarine bin.
Oh, yeah.
Punnet.
Punnet?
Bucket?
Tub.
Tub? Yeah. Good. Um,
I'm glad we got that right.
yes. There's a few jokes that kind of go through the movie.
Yeah.
Like the lesbians and their vegetarian or veganism.
She wants to ask at the very start,
goes,
and then she does ask.
Yeah.
And then when they leave, she's like, I'm going to change up everything. I'm going to be the vegan Delia Smith.
And then at the end, she's like, now there's no butter, no this.
She gets off the bus. Where are my lesbians? Where are my lesbians?
And then, like the dancing lessons as well.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny. It's like he starts giving him lessons, then the guy's dancing with the girl
In the lounge
Christmas,
room.
and then when they're at the thing, go,
Yeah.
this is our first time at a gig. We're not gay either. Oh, we're minors. Oh!
And then they're
Like,
just
that's the sexiest thing in 1984.
hashing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
And the
pastries.
pastry is a pastry chef,
Yeah.
and they have to give him the pastry.
And, oh, yeah.
It was the best experience of my life, making pastry.
Shoe pastry, of all things. And then he fails his classes.
Oh, poor Joe. Poor Bromley.
Poor Bromley. I did think they call him Bromley, like in Stonewall. They call him where he comes from, don't they?
I can't remember. I blocked it from my memory.
They don't call him his name.
No, they keep saying he's from
Columbia.
Kansas, but he's from Kansas.
They call him Columbia because
Oh,
he's going
that's
to
right.
Columbia University.
Yeah,
Copied, obviously.
obviously.
If we were normal, this is when we'd kiss. That was a great line as well. But going back to my point before, Mark, now that I know he's a communist, this line has a lot more weight. What's the point of supporting gay rights and not everyone's rights? Which I like that idea.
Well, yeah.
And he does that well, and Di likes that idea too, because he shakes his hand in the mural style, the banner style.
Because solidarity forever.
Or solidarity.
Every woman is a lesbian, including Reggie's mum. Should we just keep quoting the movie? This is the D in
I wish I
Pride.
knew the song that they sing in their hall.
the
that
bread
made
and
me cry.
roses.
She's the only
Because
probably
the Welsh singing. Oh, because, they're Welsh, they have to sing.
Yeah, and it's
But they can't dance. They don't move their hips.
no, they can't move their hips. That wasn't great accent.
Sean is good.
Sian's great. She,
Great hair.
I think
on
Mum
Sian.
told me she's actually Welsh. Oh no, Sian's husband in the movie
Yeah.
is actually Welsh.
We looked at. Okay, I watched this with Mum.
Yes.
Right before and
We do
after
have
the
other
football.
friends.
Yeah.
Anyone who listens to the podcast regularly, we have friends other than Mum and each other.
And my Thursday night was watch half a gay movie, watch a game of football, watch the end of the gay movie. So it's quite different.
Where did
I
you
needed
cry
something.
more?
I needed something uplifting after the football game I watched.
So throwing it back, because this is going to come out well after the football, Brett's a Richmond supporter.
I cried more at the movie than
and
the
the
football.
Thursday night that he's referring to was the elimination final that he lost in the last minute.
Not he, not me.
Oh, the score
Tom
review.
Lynch. Sorry, Tom, if you're listening.
Yeah, sorry, Tom
Imagine
Lynch.
if Tom's listening. I do like you, Tom. Just kick the ball straight.
Also, Tom, if you are listening, that Telstra fan banner ad,
Oh,
shit house.
maybe you should have practiced kicking instead.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting way off topic.
And as a queer podcast, there are very few people, I'm sure, that are into the football chat.
But going
We
back
are.
to representation, Tom Lynch, very white. What were you saying?
Mum said Sian's husband is Welsh.
Yes.
Mum loves a Welsh accent too. She loves Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah, so Mum was like, oh, I've seen her in something. Oh, she's in Outlander. Oh, she's in Outlaws. Oh, she's in Gavin and Stacey. Oh, he's in this. Oh, I'm like, yeah.
Mum loves the British TV.
Mum's obsessed with Bill Nye's hands as well.
Yeah, she
So I
looked it up.
Googled it up.
Yeah.
we Googled it up.
Googled it up.
But Mum also did what you do when we're watching sitcoms.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was just like, oh, no, he's going to get that. Mum, shut up. It's like, oh, no, they're going to find out he's gay. I'm like,
Yeah, but not even when you see them standing in his room do you realise that. You just realise that because it's a movie.
because it's a movie about a young gay kid.
Yeah.
The other dialogue, I didn't know how I felt about it. You know, when Bromley then goes home, Sian drops him home in the van.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't you have anything to say to your sister? And then he has a go at the thing. He says,
That tight perm never
you're a
suited you.
dick and that tight perm never suited you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that because it's not a great insult. But then he is just a normal person. So would he come back with something super witty? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if just an insult somebody, I would just go, no, you're a dick.
And then go.
I probably wouldn't insult the hair.
That tight perm doesn't suit her though. Maybe he was holding on to it for so long because straight boys in Bromley can't talk about it.
Yeah. A man shouldn't comment on a tight perm.
Yeah, but now that he's out, he may as well
Yeah, well, fuck it.
say all these things he's been thinking about. The dad will miss him, I think. I think there's a little hint that the dad was a little bit, don't leave,
Yeah.
son.
Mum, I hope we can be friends one day.
Oh, and Gethin is friends with Mum again.
Yeah, see?
And Diane from Outlaws, Sian, says something about there's a whole town in Wales the village in Wales that thinks he's a hero.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Got the accent right, though.
For dialogue overall, though, I'm going to give it a 4. You're going to give it a 4 point. I think the fact that we just did Birdcage and I gave that a 5, that's going to be my comparison.
Okay. Well, I laughed a lot at this
Maybe
movie.
I'm going to give it 4.25 and I'm going to give it a 0.25 for the Welsh accent.
The point where I laughed the most out loud was the ball gag, though. That they're just standing there chatting to the guys in the leather club, and one of them's just wearing a ball gag. I don't know how involved in the conversation he is. Probably not. But he's there.
The scene where the old ladies are, or the Welsh ladies, I shouldn't say old, the Welsh ladies are sleeping in the London and they find
Oh, and squealing.
I've seen this wallpaper in Cardiff.
In Cardiff.
Like it's the fanciest town ever. And then they found the dildo
Yep.
and the magazine. Oh, that takes me back.
I'm not sure any of the men in Oldham looked like that.
They don't
At
have
any
muscles
point.
if they're miners.
That's true. But it's just swinging a pickaxe
That's true.
and singing a song.
Hi ho, hi ho. Right. So the E stands for the
E
entirety.
is for the entirety of the movie.
Yeah.
Only thing I wrote was, I'll always say it about non-American movies, things weren't too obvious.
Yeah.
I wrote this in the wrong spot. What's the Welsh for lesbian?
Well, I'm not going to look it up in Wikipedia because that's not going to tell me either.
But also, someone's going to be looking at your search history. ASIO's going to be like, what are they looking up all these Welsh words for?
Not that they think that there's some
Welsh.
terrorist organisation in
We're going
Wales.
to defect to Wales.
I don't know if I could. It's too cold. Well, it looked too cold. And wet and depressing. Maybe that's not the... All of Wales doesn't look like
No,
that
it
one
doesn't
small
look like
town.
No, he does. It's not all like that. Some of Wales is lovely.
I like the movie overall of the starts at the Pride Parade, ends at the Pride Parade. I like that. It's pretty easy. It's a pretty simple way to make a movie.
Yes.
But it's good and it's effective.
So my eyes moistened when...
At the singing.
But the bit just before that, when he stood up and he's like, we failed you. When we get back to London, we're going to plan something huge. My eyes moistened then. And then she gets up and sing. My eyes remained moist.
Did they get more moist?
They got moister.
Yeah.
And then they moistened again when the one bus of the onward miners
they
rocked
came
up to the parade.
and like, we need
And
them.
then I cried when the more buses
Yep.
came. And then I cried when it was like and Mark died.
Yeah. And they showed the banner of the hands.
Yes. And the brass band started. The Colliery Band, which made me want to watch Brassed Off.
I was saying that to Mum, right? I can't think of that many like movies that are about the miners' strike.
Yeah.
You think this is about Pride and it's just kind of like there. And like Brassed Off, it's there, but it's not about the miners, it's about the band. Billy Elliot, it's about a boy wanting to dance at the time the miners are striking.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It seems like a big historical thing that they'd make more movies about.
It is a strike that went for a year.
So you'd think they'd make more movies about. There probably are, but because they're British, we don't really know them.
I also don't know enough about
That's what I was saying as
how
well.
hated Margaret Thatcher was.
Yeah.
Like, I know she was hated, but she was also Prime Minister for a while.
Yeah, like 11 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Watch The Iron Lady. I don't know. That's Streep.
well, The Crown. Who plays her in The Crown?
Gillian Anderson.
Gillian Anderson?
She's good.
Doesn't Olivia Colman play her in something?
Olivia Colman plays the Queen in The Crown.
Yeah, right.
And Imelda Staunton is going to be the Queen in the next Crown series.
Oh, she's good.
She's
even
gonna
though
be
I
good.
hate her for being Dolores Umbridge.
She's going to be good Queen.
Yeah. Not Welsh, though.
What else has Imelda Staunton been in where she's been good, though? That's the thing. You've probably watched her as Dolores Umbridge and taken umbrage against her.
I have taken umbrage against her. Just
And-
another example of JK's not very thinking, character naming, not
Yeah.
very thinking.
Not
God.
very thinking.
Didn't get that sentence out well.
And Bill Nye also in Harry Potter as a person that works for the Ministry of Magic. 6 Degrees of Harry Potter.
All right. She plays the nurse in Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, Gwyneth's nurse.
She plays Vera Drake. She plays Vera in Vera Drake. She plays Hefina in Pride.
something
She
else
is
I was-
in
I
the
watched- I feel
sequel
like
of Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget.
Oh, Jesus. Was Chicken Run that good that it needed a sequel?
15 years or something after the original one.
Gosh.
She's in the new Downton Abbey movie.
I feel like I've seen her in something else recently. I don't know.
No, she was in Downton Abbey, the voice of Aunt Lucy in Paddington 2.
She wasn't in Billy Elliot. No, that
Not
was
that I
Julie
know of.
Walters.
She
That was
played
Julie
Knotgrass
Walters.
in Maleficent.
McPhee.
All right, overall, I'm going to give it a 4.
I am also going...
Entirety, sorry.
I could almost give it a 4.5. quite high.
It's rewatchable.
Very rewatchable.
It's very funny. It's very feelings.
It hits you in the feels, as the kids say.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 4.25.
Okay. Good.
Because 4.5 is what I gave Birdcage, and I think Birdcage is better than this. No, fuck it, 4.5.
Oh, the British Birdcage.
I don't think.
I don't think so.
So
help me if you get AIDS from a couple of sleeping bags in your extension, I'll nurse you myself.
I can take an extra, not a lesbian so much because of their cuisine, but I'll take an extra gay.
I love that Bill Nye then found his little poetry group in the Pride March. Our little moistened up eyes there too. Sorry to anyone who hates the word moist. Because I've just said it 15 times in this episode.
Yeah. So, out of 50...
So, solidarity forever.
Lesbian at heart. The total for Pride out of 50 is a 36.75.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's close to Birdcage.
Birdcage was a 38.5. And this is the third movie, and Stonewall was a 16.5. So it's 20 points better than the Stonewall.
That's accurate.
It's a lot better than Stonewall.
It's 20 points better than Stonewall, even though it got no higher score on the representation.
That's true.
Of the people. It represented the story better.
The story better, that's true.
Diversity of people much better.
So there we go. Solid movie, Pride. I'd recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it and you've just listened to the length of this episode, well done. But go and watch it.
And it's worth a watch. It's a nice movie to watch. I was going to say with the family.
It's a nice movie to watch with your mum, as you did.
Well, I know she loves British stuff. So
she loves Welsh people.
She loves Bill Nye.
She isn't tainted by Dolores Umbridge when it comes to Imelda Staunton,
no.
So she's all right.
What am I watching with my mum next week?
Bill Nye is really good in The Boat That Rocked. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Watch that. It's not a queer movie.
I think I liked that, but I didn't really like it. And there was someone in it that I didn't really like.
Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Yeah. I was like, I don't like his character.
You're not meant to.
Okay.
There is a lesbian on the boat, actually.
Ooh, is that what rocked it?
Yeah. That is what rocked it. Rock Me Amadeus. Came out in that maybe era. I don't know. It just popped into my head. Next week, we're going to jump. Oh, no, we're not jumping very far. It was the year before. No, a couple of years after, actually. I thought we should watch Moonlight.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen it.
Yep.
And it almost didn't win an Oscar.
It almost didn't.
Yeah.
They tried to take it away.
Oh, what I should have done.
I said we were going to watch La La Land.
We're going to watch La La Land.
And I would have been like, excuse me? That's not gay.
Shit.
It's white.
It's white.
It's white.
Yeah, it's much whiter than Moonlight, that's for sure. All right, Moonlight.
Okay, good. I've only watched it, I think, once when it was kind of first came out.
Well, it was released on the 21st of October 2016.
Yeah.
So by the time the review of it comes out, it will be 6 years old.
There you go.
6 years.
Yeah.
Gee, that's gone quickly.
6 years since La La Land.
Feeling old.
Do you remember us watching La La Land and going, that wasn't that great?
And then everyone loving it.
Everyone loved it except for one person. And we were like, oh, thank God. Because that person likes musicals. We're like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah, but when that person doesn't like something, they don't like it. We're a bit the same, actually.
I had a friend that was like, she loved La La Land. And I thought it was shit. And then she played she like even put the soundtrack on in her car.
No.
We're not friends anymore. So there you go.
Not
because of that.
There you go, listeners. If you
like La La Land, stop listening. No.
If you liked Stonewall and didn't like Pride, don't follow request Brett on Instagram.
Send me a friend request because I will not accept.
All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Rainbow Popcorn Podcast. Make sure you've followed us on the socials at Rainbow Popcorn Pod and followed the Two Brothers ENT on the socials as well. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.